Well, that didn't take long. CNN Plus closing up shop just weeks after its launch late last month. It'll shutter on April 30th. Now, we've been talking about what a disaster this has been for weeks here. And today, the brand new parent company, Discovery Warner Brothers, decided to end the pain. Now, while I predicted that CNN Plus would be going the way of the Betamax and the Microsoft Zune, at this point, I'm not going to stomp on the grave. A lot of people left good jobs to go work there, and hundreds now may lose their jobs. CNN CEO-to-be Chris Licht had to start work early. Officially, he wasn't supposed to start until May 2nd. He reportedly told staffers today that CNN Plus didn't fit in with its newly minted parent company's streaming plans, but that it was an incredibly successful launch. Now, I'm sure that it's true it didn't fit in, but it's not just that. Let's have some straight talk about this. This was never going to work. The network poured around $300 million into the service, including a mega marketing budget. CNN reportedly planned on investing another $750 million into the service over the next few years. This despite reports that Warner Brothers Discovery executives were annoyed that the former Warner Media CEO, Jason Kilar, moved forward with the CNN Plus launch just weeks before Discovery was set to take over CNN. And just over 2 weeks ago, Kilar immediately was trying to get people to believe they were just killing it.
So it's ahead of my expectations in terms of where the subscribers are, the engagement are, the receptiveness that we're getting in terms of people's response to the journalism of CNN Plus. I couldn't be more proud of that team. And it's not an exaggeration, Deidre, to say that that is the future of CNN.
Not an exaggeration at all. CNN also screwed up when pricing CNN Plus. They're charging $5.99 a month. That's $1 more than Discovery Plus charges for a service that offered very little for even the remaining fans of CNN's cable product. But they sure did know how to spend. They opted to bring in high-priced media figures like former anchor Chris Wallace, former NPR host Audie Cornish, ESPN vets Carrie Champion and Jamel Hill, and CNN executives had reportedly expected to bring in about 2 million paid subscribers in CNN Plus's first year and expanding to 15 to 18 million paying viewers and breaking even after 4 years. Now, that turned out to be a completely ridiculous prediction. Was it groupthink? What made them believe that the brand was that popular? That massive early budget north of $250 million didn't translate into anything resembling success when CNN Plus launched late last month. According to app analytics firm Sensor Tower, which tracks how different apps perform across a variety of marketplaces, CNN Plus added about 18,000 installs on the day of launch. By comparison, short-form video platform Quibi, which existed only for about 8 months in 2020, had 300,000 app installs on its first day. Earlier this week, Axios reported that Warner Brothers Discovery suspended all external advertising spending for CNN Plus and laid off CNN's longtime CFO. And last week, the company reportedly began prepping for massive cuts, foreshadowing CNN Plus's fate. This will be remembered as one of the great failures in media, and maybe one of the biggest in the modern day news media. So what happened? Were the execs living in a sort of coastal elite bubble? Did they think the CNN name was far more impactful than it actually is? Joining me now is Frank Sesno, the Director of Strategic Initiatives at George Washington University's School of Media and Public Affairs and a former Washington Bureau Chief for CNN. Frank, thank you for coming on this show. Appreciate it. All right, what is your assessment of why these predictions were so wildly off?
Somebody who wasn't reading the internal memos or being honest about it. I mean, this always defied my sense of who's the audience, who's going to pay for this, how much CNN is out there elsewhere, either for free, to CNN.com. You don't have to pay for that content, or that you're already paying, even though the audience is dwindling in the cable universe. Millions get it that way. So it just seemed to be a colossal miscalculation, a colossal, gigantic case of hubris, thinking that this was going to be the next revolution in news. Look, CNN led the next revolution in news way back when Ted Turner flipped the switch in 1980. You could say that they helped lead the way in the digital in the digital drift to really grab a huge audience. They have tens of millions of viewers every day who go to CNN.com and various properties. They thought they were going to do this again, anticipating all the cable cutting that's taking place out there. But this was just wildly off the mark. And what really missed here, as you pointed out, was the intent to go ahead with this literally weeks before the company was being handed over to new masters, what is now Discovery, Warner Brothers Discovery. So on so many different levels, it just seemed tone deaf. This may be one of the great, case studies in business school on how to, mismanage a brand and launch a new product.
Frank, I was struck in your pre-interview. You are a professional media analyst. You are a former CNNer. And you told my producer that you hadn't even signed up for CNN Plus, and that should be very telling.
True confessions, right? I mean, I love CNN. I still love CNN. The coverage that they're doing out of Ukraine is positively heroic. And I've also worked with Discovery. I've worked with Discovery through a channel that they have in Poland, TVN 24, which is an all-news channel there, which has been besieged by the government because it's an independent media company. And Discovery has really stood up for the journalism there. And I take my hat and tip my hat to them for that. The question here is, and this is where I think the Discovery connection to TVN is relevant. What they're saying is, CNN, what it really needs to do is get back to its core mission, which is journalism. And there have been public statements from the get-go from Licht and others about getting some of the opinion off the air and some of the news back on the air. They think that there's been brand confusion here. And, you mentioned Betamax and all that kind of thing. I mean, the case study I think about, this goes way back, is New Coke. Remember New Coke?
Yeah.
Well, probably not.
Sure.
But this is a gigantic company, a well-known brand. They introduced a new product, and all it did was confuse the audience, and it was rejected by the audience. I think Discovery was looking at a case of New Coke, new CNN here, and they said, pull the plug quick.
Very quickly, Frank, I think CNN's going to have a hard time gaining back the trust of viewers who are, right of center. Even if they claim they're going back to less opinionated stuff, even if they claim they're going back to straight journalism, I think that's going to be a big uphill battle for them to gain back any of the trust of anyone who is even slightly right of center. Real quick thoughts on that?
The market has changed. The audience has changed. The challenge will be significant. They've got years of their current track record that they're going to have to work on. But Ukraine and other things over time, I think CNN has a long and proud legacy. And I don't know that they'll ever get back to where they were, Dan. But I think that
they don't have Frank Sesno anymore. Sesno's not on the air anymore. So that's the problem. All right, Frank Sesno. Frank Sesno, thank you. Appreciate it. Thank you for watching. Click the red subscribe button below so you can get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.